One night apart. Once upon a time, in a very peaceful and wealthy kingdom, lived an old king with a good heart full of wisdom, who chose to abdicate in favor of his son, a gentle and generous young man who had quite a remarkable gift. You see, as soon as he wished something, his wish was granted. Just like that, so quickly, so effortlessly, and, mind you, without spending any gold or silver. It looked like whatever he wished for came running towards him. Thankfully, this young king was even wiser than his father and had few personal desires. He was gifted with a strong empathy and loved all his people, all the beings of his kingdom, and protected them with all his heart. One day he fell very much in love with a beautiful princess, and because she loved him too, they celebrated their marriage. The young king's desire for his queen was great, and soon something strange happened. The wishes of the young king were no longer fulfilled. When he wanted something, he had to go and get it, or pay gold or money, and make a lot of effort. Then the king and queen started fighting with each other, and the harmony of the whole kingdom was threatened. The little folk began to suffer. At last, during a stormy summer afternoon, the young king and queen were arguing fiercely and quarreling when suddenly he stopped in mid-sentence, dumbstruck. Then he calmly looked at the young, beautiful and furious queen and went away, his heart full of sadness. He took his best shoes, his best weapons, his best dogs, and after having said a few words to his father and to his mother, he hugged them goodbye and left the kingdom. His path led him to a sacred river which was running through the country, and without giving it a second thought, he began to travel upstream towards the mountain at the center of the world. With his weapons and his well-trained hounds, he killed deer and pigs, then ate the meat broiled on charcoal, and the more he ate, the more his desire to eat venison grew. Soon he did nothing but hunting and eating venison, and he gained a lot of weight. Oh, wait, that's another story. Anyway, although he didn't realize it, he was climbing higher and higher, and by the time he reached the highest mountains, he had forgotten all about his people and his kingdom. There the sacred river was a pleasant stream, but when it ran full, the water was breast high. At other times, it was no more than knee-deep. One day he came to a place where the water's edge were covered with silver sand. Fish and tortoises of all sorts were cavorting everywhere. On both banks, trees were bending under the weight of countless delicious fruits, and flowers of all colors delighted the senses with their sweet perfumes. In the shade of their foliage, all kinds of birds and bees sang and hummed, rejoicing in the divine nectars, while under them herds of majestic deer came to graze and quench their thirst in peace. Suddenly, a joyful laughter, light as the wind and clear as crystal, brought the young king back to the here and now. With a glance, followed by a snap of the fingers, he quieted his well-trained hounds. Then he laid down his weapons by a tree and very calmly took a step forward. Soft crying and sobbing came to his ears. The king, increasingly intrigued, crawled silently towards the stream. Finally, he saw a couple of very small beings sitting on the shore. They were kissing tenderly, laughing, then crying softly and sadly, then kissing again. He got up very slowly in order not to scare them, and very respectfully spoke to them. "Why do you weep? Who are you? Please tell me. I have never met beings like you before. You have nothing to fear, for I am alone and my intentions are peaceful." The two beings raised their heads. The one who had the appearance of a male said nothing, but observed the newcomer attentively. Then his mate replied, "And you? Who are you? Where are you from?" "I come from the human world, and I have been hunting in these beautiful mountains. To show you my peaceful intentions, I stand here with neither my horns nor my weapons." "You're not telling the whole story, human. Despite the disturbing emotions that have overwhelmed you, I sense a royal ancestry. Anyway, I will answer you. We live on this sacred mountain at the center of the world, following the streams of life, and even though wild creatures deem us human-like, we belong to the little fairy folk." The young king was impressed by the clairvoyance and the presence of the fairy couple, but he questioned them again. "You caress each other and laugh like lovers, and the next moment you seem to be in deep distress. Could you tell me why?" The female fairy answered him, her partner remaining silent. "We spent the night apart from each other, and this separation was terrible for both of us." "How did that happen?" "This lively stream was flowing peacefully when suddenly a storm broke out. So, anxious to find me, my loved one crossed over to the other side. Meanwhile, I was busy gathering flowers and all sorts of plants to make a cozy nest for a beautiful night of love. I made one garland for him and one garland for me, with thyme and meadowsweet, clustering harebell, violet blue and white narcissus fresh with dew. Then I plucked a bunch of roses, the most beautiful of flowers. I even removed all their thorns because, how they sting! Then I gently laid on the ground flower petals and leaves so soft to make the most comfortable bed. Next, I prepared a powder made of sandalwood and other enchanting woods to perfume my love's body and delight my own. Finally, by the river flowing fast, I gathered all the lilies I could see. But when evening came, The swollen river was impossible to get past. What did you do then? We stood there on either shore, looking at each other. Oh, how we laughed and cried together, how terribly we suffered that night. Then the morning came, the sun shone high in the sky, and soon we saw the river was dry. At last we crossed and closely embraced each other, laughing and crying all at once. When did all of this happen? In 3 years' time, it will be 700 years. When two hearts are truly in love, one night apart seems like an entire lifetime. 700 years? But then, how long are your lives in this world? We live 1,000 years, strong and vigorous, without any mortal pain or small sorrows. 1,000 summers of abundant happiness, and until the end, we know the joys of love. You have touched my heart and opened my eyes, lady of the fairy folk. As you guessed rightly, I am of royal lineage and king among human beings. I abandoned my kingdom over a quarrel with the woman of my life, the queen, my wife, and left my parents and my people to hunt in the wild, blinded by an increasingly intense desire. If you noble beings of the little fairy folk can cry 700 years for a single night separated from the love of your life, then what can be said about my conduct? With this, the young king bowed before the wonderful couple of lovers with deep respect. Love was flowing freely from his heart. The earth trembled slightly, and from the clear sky fell a shower of fragrant flowers. Inspired by the fairies, he immediately returned to his kingdom and found his beloved queen, with whom he immediately made peace. After embracing each other for a long time, he told her all of his adventures and promised to live and reign with true love as taught by the fairies. With tears in her eyes, the queen agreed and took the same vow. Then they went together to find their respective parents, told them the whole story, and shared with them the new vow they had made. Then their parents also made the same promise. Then all the people of the kingdom promised as well and rejoiced in this beautiful victory. Thus, harmony and prosperity returned to the kingdom, opening a new golden age, and the animals were never hunted again. Not only the wishes of the young king began to be granted again, but also the wishes of all beings, as if the heart of each and everyone had found the jewel that grants all wishes. That was One Night Apart, inspired by Bhallāṭiya-Jātaka from the Jataka Tales, adapted and told by Relax Petso. Thank you, and thank you to all the children.